Hi guys, welcome to this very special video presentation from Totally Magic, and we're doing a series of videos, in fact 5 of them, all dedicated to a trick that is loved by magicians throughout the world. It's called the ACAAN, and if you're unsure of what that means, it stands for any card at any number. And we're going to look at to see the various commercially available products out there on the market and how many of them actually are a true ACAAN. So let's take a look at the trick itself. First of all, we do need a deck of cards. Well, just like that. Now, basically the trick is this. The audience take a deck of cards. The audience take a deck of cards. The audience shuffle the cards before anything's done. A spectator can then think of any card in the pack. Let's say, for example, the 5 of clubs. They then have a free choice of any number from 1 to 52. There's no limitations. Let's say, for argument's sake, 9. Then the audience take hold of the cards as they have done from the beginning, and they have to deal the cards face up. And if we deal out 9 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, this should be the 5 of clubs, the thought of card. That is the ACAAN in an ideal world. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Because if you wanted this to happen, then you would need 52 packs of cards. And that's how many packs you need, 52. That way, if someone chooses any card from 52 playing cards and any number from 1 to 52, their card will be in the correct position in one of those packs. Simple as that. But of course, we can't carry around 52 packs of cards. So what do? Well, we use magic, sleight of hand, specialist cards, manipulation. All of that goes together to perform the perfect ACAAN. Or is it? And that's what this series of 5 videos is going to look at. We're going to take a handful of commercially available decks out there and see how close they get to the proper ACAAN. But let's just recap on the 5 points that most magicians over the years have considered to be the perfect ACAAN, and based on certain performances by one David Berglas. And the effect is sometimes known as the Berglas effect. Point 1. The audience must be able to shuffle the cards before the trick begins. Point 2. They have a choice of any card just by thinking of it, not looking at the pack, but thinking of a card. Thirdly, they need to pick a number between 1 and 52, and that's an absolute free choice. There's absolutely no restrictions on the number they can choose. Point 4, the magician should not be touching the pack throughout the routine. So the magician doesn't handle the pack at all. And finally, point 5 is that when the cards are dealt, ideally they should be dealt by the spectator and also dealt face up, so each card can be seen as it's dealt. So there's the 5 points that we're going to be comparing against all of the commercially available packs. Now along the way we'll also talk about an effect called CAAN, which is the card at any number. It's almost the same as an ACAAN, but remember the ACAAN is any card. So during the performance any card could be chosen, whereas with the CAAN, the card at any number, a particular chosen or forced card is arrived at a random number. So I hope you enjoy this series. You can click on the links or search our YouTube channel. And even if you subscribe, you'll be informed of latest updates of what's happening in the world of ACAAN. So without further ado, let's go through our first trick to start this whole series off. So the first performance of what we class as an ACAAN is this trick here, and what you need is just a regular deck of cards, 52 cards to begin the trick, and I'll go through the performance and then we'll do the tutorial afterwards. So you need just a regular deck of cards, and if we go through you can see, probably best if I just spread these and you can see them that they are all regular on there. We ask a spectator to select a card, but we're going to do it kind of without them taking a card, and we can just spread the cards. And I'll say to my helper, if I had one, I'm going to spread the cards. You can shuffle them if you want, there's no worries about that. But we'll spread the cards, and I'll ask a spectator just to call stop when they get that urge. They say stop. Now I will give them the choice. This is the great thing about this version, is you can give them a choice. Shall I take these cards away, or I was just about to pass this one across, do you want that one to go with it as well? Now they get a choice. Let's say they do. Okay, so we turn the cards over, and I'm going to ask them to take a peek at this card here that they stopped at. Now I'm going to hold it up to the camera so you can actually see it. There it is there, and I'll turn it up so that the camera above me can see it as well. Now of course they could have had any of these, and once again you can shuffle the pack. Now the idea here is that you do make a point that you're shuffling the cards before the next part. You want them to memorise the card that they envisage in their head. It's floating around there. They didn't take the card physically, it's not in their pocket, they're not holding it or touching it. It's in their head, their thought of card. I'm going to put the cards down, and the spectator can take over from this point here. You ask them, can you give me a number between 1 and 52? And they can have any number they like. Now just to keep the video short, I use a low number, so let's say for example they went for 7, but they could have gone for any number they wanted. You then deal off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's the 7th card. What was your card? They'll say the 9 of spades, and that is the card that you arrived at. If they had chosen 8, they would have had this card. If they had chosen 6, they would have had this card. So an absolute free choice of cards. Now the trick you've just seen there is one of the simplest variations of the ACAAN that I know of. So how does it work? Well, it is one of the easiest versions, and it's also a trick deck that I'm sure every magician watching this actually owns. It's one of the first trick packs that most magicians buy when they're a kid and they first get into the magic. It's called the Svengali. Now I'm not going to explain the Svengali, because if you are watching this video then you'll know all about that, but you can see this is known as a reverse Svengali, and what do I mean by that? It means that when I flip the cards like this face up, they all look different. Now anyone that knows the regular Svengali will know that if I did that face up they would be all alike. So this is called a reverse Svengali, but it works the same. So you can show the cards, you can spread the cards. There they are. They get a rough idea of that they're just a regular card, and why wouldn't they be? You then get them to choose any card. Now this is what I find quite good about this, because it goes two ways. When you spread the cards, when they say stop, you split the pack at that point, but just to give them the illusion that they're getting an absolute free choice, ask them, I was about to push this one across, do you want that? Now at this point I've got no idea whether I'm cutting at one of the all alike cards or an indifferent card. It doesn't matter, and you don't have to peep at anything. Watch what happens. Let's say they said no, I'm happy where I stopped. I turn this packet over. Now because I see that there's an indifferent card there, I know that this card here is the false card, in our case the 9 of spades. But say if I was doing this and I stopped and I said, do you want me to push this one across? If they said yes, I don't know what it is at the moment, but if I just turn the pack over, as soon as I see that it's the false card, that's the one we're going to use. Okay, we say, okay, you stopped at the 9. Of course, if you hadn't passed that across, it would have been the king, or you could have had this one here. At this point, the audience think they're getting an absolute free choice, the 9 of spades. Now, if you know how the Svengali works, you know that every other card is the false card. So I know that every odd card in this pack is a 9 of spades. So you can shuffle the cards, put them down. Now if the audience member gives you an odd number, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 31, 27, you know that those will be the false card. So let's say for example they said 5. Because I know that 5 is an odd number, I don't have to do anything. This is what makes it so powerful. We deal out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is there. Okay, and you can just take the cards and drop them back on the pack. They're all in the right order. Okay. But what if they give you an even number? Now this could potentially be more powerful, because originally I kind of thought, well, if they gave me an odd number and they said 5, sorry, if they said 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I know that's not the false card, but this one is. So I would say I would eliminate the 6 cards. The next card is there, but actually this is the 7th card. So what I came up with, let's just put these back in order, to make it more powerful is, what if you give the audience the chance to cut the cards? They've seen you shuffle the cards before they gave you their number. So say if they said, in this case, I want a random number of 6. What I say to the audience is, to prove that there's no cheating, I want you to cut the cards and complete the cut. Now when they cut the reverse Svengali and complete it, all of the false cards are now in even positions. So now they think they've cut the cards, they're dealing from where they cut. This is actually more powerful. So when you now deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6th card is the chosen card. As I said, it's a great effect using just the standard Svengali deck. So let's just go through the 5 criteria points to see how many this matches up to. Well, first of all, shuffling the cards. Can the audience shuffle the cards? Well, that's a definite no-no, so we'll cross that out. Can the audience think of any card? Well, they can't, because you've got to force the repeated card from the Svengali. So, no, they can't force that. So that's a no-no there. Can they choose any number between 1 and 52? There, that's a definite tick, because it does meet that. They can have any number picked out. Can the audience handle the cards throughout? No, they can't. The magician will have to handle the cards to start with. So that's a cross there. And finally, when the cards are dealt, can they be dealt by the spectator? Yes, they can. They can be dealt by the audience. Unfortunately, they can't be dealt face up for obvious reasons. So I give that a half a tick. And there it is. That's the ACAAN, or should I call it the CAAN, card at any number trick, using just the Svengali.